How's it going, everybody? Game Reviews here. So this video is kind of different from what I obviously have ever done in the past. This is actually from a convention called Isshocon that I was actually very grateful to be accepted to do this panel in. I really hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys have any recommendations for any other kind of challenge runs I should include, please feel free to put it down in the comment section below. This is not going to be the only time that I'm going to be having this kind of panel at feature conventions.
All right, so first off, hey everybody, I'm Max. Game Reviews, my nice little YouTube channel and everything. So first big question, who here knows, everybody here has definitely heard of a Nuzlocke challenge, right? Yeah. Perfect. That's the first we're talking about. Anyways, it's Pokemon challenge. All right, so we're going to basically anybody make a game harder. You can improve difficulty, limited amount of Pokemon, types, levels, randomized areas, abilities, randomized items. There's so many different ways you could do a lot, especially nowadays. Randomization on PC and everything is a very big common thing that you would see in the community. And we're obviously I kick it off, with the origin of the Nuzlocke. So it started off in 2010. It was played on the Ruby version. This person basically documented their entire adventure on 4chan in comics. And so the original two rules were catching the first Pokemon, and if obviously that Pokemon faints, it dies. Here's like a couple little sketches and everything of that exact adventure. So this nice little one right over here, down over here. So this is why it's called Nuzlocke. That's why right there. Got a nice little John Locke with a little Pikmin leaf and everything, even though it looks like a Nuzleaf. All right, so I always like doing some of these. Who is the Nuzlocke named after? It's like, what was the name of it? Like, what were those two names that made Nuzlocke? Yes. Nuzleaf and Locke. Yes, exactly. There we go. All right, cool. And now we're going to look into the evolution of the Nuzlocke. So obviously after those first two rules, catch first Pokemon, if it faints, it dies. People really just took that and ran wild with it. I think this is one of the more entry-level-esque kind of Nuzlocke runs. People thought about the ideas of limiting use at Pokemarts, limiting the use of an item. So say, for example, you're limiting yourself to, 2 healing items per battle, or can only heal items in battles, for example. But that's what's coming down the pipeline. Limit Pokeballs used, and then Dupe Clause. So just real quick little heads up. So Dupe Clause is a rule set that says if I'm in the wild and I see Mimikyu, I catch that Mimikyu, and then later on, I see a Pikachu. These two are not the same, so I could catch both these. But say, for example, I actually don't think I brought. Oh, perfect example, actually. This is an example of Dupe Clause. Multiple. Just gonna throw a Mimikyu over there real quick. All right, multiple. So, for example, Dupe Clauses could fall underneath evolutionary lines. So, say, for example, you catch that Eevee, and then you evolve it. Hey, in the wild, I see, this annoying Pokemon, I don't want that. I'm Dupe Clausing that. However, this Pokemon, yeah, it's the same evolutionary line, but I'll still catch it. I'm not going to throw a Dupe Clause here because everybody knows Sylveon's the best. And I will stand on that hill 100% always. Oh, sorry. See Umbreon? Oh, two shake. Got Vaporeon, got Umbreon. They are separate Pokemon because they're separate species, and obviously, yes, the gimmick of them was supposed to be, hey, double battles. They're two separate Pokemon. It's the same idea with the Illumise and Volbeat, same perspective. And like I was alluding to before, the hardcore Nuzlocke, this thing is very challenging. It really makes me hate Pokemon sometimes. I will say that. So not only do we have those standard Nuzlocke rules, so catching first Pokemon, nicknaming them, if they faint, they die. You could throw Dupe Clause in there. You have to remain within a level cap of the next milestone. So the example I have up here, I know it's a little hard to see, is where the first gem, which is, oh my gosh, basically the waiters and wherever the first city is in Black and White. It's my favorite region. I feel bad I do not remember these.
It's Chili, Cyrus,
Chili.
Silent.
Yeah, Silent sounds right. Yeah, and then perfect. And so, just for example, so over here, I think Silent is.
Sorry, Crest.
Crest, thank you. So great, Crest, Silent, and Chile. Perfect. All right, so I think this is Silent's team, yeah, because of the pan stage. So over here, that level 14 basically tells the person who wants to do this kind of hardcore Nuzlocke, you cannot let your Pokemon go beyond level 14 prior to entering the gym. So, say for example, do I have any Gen 5 Pokemon over here? You know what? Throwing a little technicality. All right. This Pokemon does not exist to Arceus, but that's besides the point. Anyways, I have a Zorua. Zorua says it's level 15 by the time I enter the first gym. This Pokemon has to be boxed. You cannot use it. That is one of the bigger strategies when it comes to this because you're required to battle every trainer in the gym. But the one thing you have to remember about this rule set specifically, if you enter that gym with a level 14 Zorua and they reach level 15, it's still usable because you entered that gym. You cannot leave the gym though until you finish it, until you complete it. All right, so like I said before, what's the difference between a Nuzlocke and a hardcore Nuzlocke? Exactly, that's really the big thing right there, is the level cap. Yes. All right, and then go more into more like the co-op things. I will say right now, cage locks are very annoying at times, best way to put it, because you're relying on somebody else always of making sure that that they don't kill a Pokemon, they don't make any wrong moves. And so with that being said, cage locks are a little more of a unique kind of. I confused cage locks with Soul Links. So we're getting more of those in a little bit. Cage locks is one-on-one basically, or two on however many people you want. I've done a four-way cage lock before. That was a lot of fun. But anyways, you need more than one person, obviously, to do this. And you each do your own individual Nuzlocke runs. And then at the end of each milestone, so gym, trial, whatever you want to classify Scarlet and Violet as, each of them require a battle after each milestone. And whichever Pokemon wins would get one of three rewards. You can either give that Pokemon TMs, give that Pokemon a held item, or you could also revive a fallen Pokemon. So there's a lot of advantages to that. People really do like going a little further deep in their rule set there. For example, like in one of the cage locks I've done, we've only allowed one Pokemon to be used twice in one battle. So again, for example, Grookey and Pooper. Here we go. All right, so obviously one-on-one. Say for example, Pooper faints. Sorry. It's all about Grookey getting right now. Grookey basically you have one of three things: TMs, held item, or it can be revived if it falls in battle. Oh yeah, perfect. There you go. Exactly. Yeah, one of the Oranberry. Perfect. And then say for example, again, I hate to do this right now. Umbreon's probably very happy about this one. All right, so Grookey fails against Sylveon. Sylveon, done. Outie. Grookey could then get a second one as well. So it could be like TMs and held items. One of the combination 2 of the 3. However, once that's done, it means that Grookey cannot be used anymore until the final battle, which takes place after the Elite Four. The only thing that's a little trickier there, I guess, is Scarlet and Violet, because obviously you have trials, titans, gym leaders. I think that one, just after post game, I think is probably valid for that one. But those are the cage locks. And one thing I forgot to mention actually about cage locks, so just notice pop quiz right here. In cage locks, each battle you win, you get a point. In certain games, specifically gens 1 through 6 and 8, you could win without completing the game. So, like, say for example, you win 5 out of 8. So say for example, you win like 5 out of 8 of the cage lock battles before the Elite Four, you automatically get a win then. For example, and then this was the one I confused my other one with. So got ourselves the Soul Links. This is again pairing up with other team members. Like I said as well, you could do as many team members as you want. They're all linked together though, so that's the big emphasis here. If one Pokemon faints, the other faints. So this is all about teamwork. It's communicating and saying, hey, I have basically, like, you don't make any idiotic choices. I personally have fallen victim to that plenty of times, as has everybody else, especially when you go into randomizer rules as well. So you could battle up against for example, like a level 10 Regirock, Regice, Registeel, for example. Early levels, they have self-destruct. So sometimes you learn the hard way, and it makes you really want to, yes.
I have a suggestion if anybody wants to watch one on YouTube. Jaden Animations and Alpharad did a Soul Link, and it was very funny.
There you go. Yes, that's a great example right there, everyone. Definitely. Thank you. And then that's another thing as well. Pairs cannot have matching types. So this is really where it gets a little tricky because you could play a technicality with primary typing versus secondary typing. Okay. Could this work? Actually, no. We're going to do two of the best Pokemon of all time. Got ourselves Lapras. Got ourselves the Duck. The Duck is the best Pokemon in Paldea, and I will die on that hill. Anyways, so for example, these two Pokemon could be a pair because even though Quaxley and Lapras are both water types, Lapras is also ice type. So some people would be able to so it depends on who you want to play with. This is not really like a preset, this is not like a preset rule. It's more so on preference. So for me, I like playing with the primary and secondary typings. It lets you mess around a little bit more with the different Pokemon that you could put on your team and everything. So like I said, so like in a legal sense, these two work. Sorry, not me to job Quaxley. Okay. However, though, again, the best Pokemon right here, though. Exactly, yes. These two cannot be a pair because they're both normal type, and that's it. This where it gets a little trickier, and again, you guys will, more discussion to have with people who you want to actually do this kind of challenge with. Personally, I think to myself, if Eevee evolves into, Sylveon, Glaceon, really Jolteon, Vaporeon, Flareon, any of them, then I do think it's a legal pair with Snorlax in that regard because the typing does change. However, until that happens, not going to happen. All right, so that being said, can a pair be two of the same typings?
No.
Exactly. There we go, exactly. Make sure you're all paying attention. All right, so this is actually a really fun solo one to do, in my opinion, is the quad lock. You're holding yourself to the first 4 Pokemon types that you catch. So looking at your starter and your next 3 Pokemon after that. Like I said, this falls within the primary secondary typing as well. It adds a lot more creativity as well because normally in Nuzlocke, you don't want to pass up on any Pokemon you do catch because it's your only one. Say, for example, I don't have any weak Pokemon over here, which is great. For example, you encounter a Weedle, you encounter a Caterpie, like a really bad bug type. I don't want to be locked into that. I'd rather just let that Pokemon faint, go to the next route, and then retry my roll. Another thing about this is once your 4 types are set, those are the only 4 types you could catch in the wild. So in any new route, you're set, for example, this one over here, the flying, water, ghost, and poison types. You're locked into those. In these regards, you can only catch one of those 4 types in any route moving forward. Yes?
Finish your sentence. It's about the type.
No worries at all. So in that regard, you're only allowed to catch one of those 4 types, and this is where that rolling, basically you have to constantly re-roll in a route to get that correct typing. Yeah, what was the...
My question is, so let's say the 4 Pokemon that determine your types are all dual types, and they're all different. Can you do 8 at that point?
No, you cannot. When you catch the Pokemon, you have to say it's going to be one type or the other.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like the Hisuian Zorua normal ghost type. I catch it, I can say, okay, I'm going to use ghost types or I'm going to use normal types. I can't use both of them. However, that being said, I do catch Zorua, ghost type. I catch Eevee, normal type, Ghost and normal type are both valid at that point.
And so your starter is never going to be its secondary type. It has to be its primary because it starts out as one type.
Correct. However, the technicality in that would be throwing in a randomizer where you may get a dual typing as a starter.
Yeah.
But aside from that, yes, you are locked into that fire, water, grass type, though. Sorry? Oh, good point. Good point. Forgot about that. Are there any other dual types aside from Bulbasaur? Is Bulbasaur the only starter that's a dual type?
Rowlet is flying.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes. Thank you. Let's get my friend Mike the Quick would get mad at me for me not remembering that. It's okay. All right. So next up over here we got ourselves is the monolock. So unlike a quad lock, you're only allowing yourself to use one typing. Generally, these are more of a how much do I hate myself to actually do this kind of challenge. Like normally, I've never done a monolock before. This is one that I refuse to touch because any type you pick, you're going to have some kind of inherent weakness across the board. But that being said, though, this goes back to that primary secondary typing. So in monolock, it's that same idea of Pokemon. For example, Ice type is the team you're rocking with. That Lapras is still valid because it's a secondary typing of Ice. So that's another way to kind of see it as well. I mean, again, not my cup of tea, but I know a lot of people who have had their fun with that.
You're picking Ice, really.
Exactly, yes.
In this, you have to have a good starter because essentially how I would play it is that's my Pokemon that I have as my starter. Because how this works, now let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
If you go down a route, and let's say you start with a grass type, okay? And the Pokemon is not a grass type. Do you get to catch the first grass type, or do you have to abandon that route?
So, good question. In those regards, you just have to re-roll. So basically, you want to find until you find a grass type. That route is still alive. So you don't give up on an encounter if the first encounter you have is not the typing that you need. You don't give up that encounter. You keep cycling through that route until you find it. Unless.
Have you ever heard anybody that does the even more one? No, that is lacked out. So you just don't get to catch Pokemon.
Yeah, again, like I said, I think a monologue's hard enough as it is. So I'm more of a fan of make it a little bit easier on yourself. But yeah, I'm sure I know people as well who have said first and done no matter what the rule set is. All right, and then these, I'm gonna say this right now. I've done these. These are not fun. Standard Nuzlocke rules. Sleep locks are again mixture of good and fun time. You don't sleep. If you lose, you reset. You basically have to keep going until you actually pull out that win and you beat the Week 4. You complete whatever the main campaign is, and it's all in one sitting. Longest one, I think the longest one that took me was actually the Omega Ruby one. That took me about 16, 17 hours to beat. And like I said, again, like I probably walked away for 5 minutes at most at a time. But that being said, though, these are still like a lot of fun to do. Excuse me. For something like this, though, it's really enjoyable, especially with like friends and everything as well. Basically, I will only do these if I'm streaming because like talking about myself, really trying to keep my mind occupied and focused for 17 hours is not a fun time. All right, so here's a nice little one. What makes a sleep lock yes?
One sitting.
Exactly, there we go. That's to be all in one sitting. And, okay, so...
What if you fall asleep and, like...
Oh, then you lose. Oh, you're all good. Yeah, you're all good, yeah. Oh, no, but then you lose. Like, that's really it. So if you're like, oh, I can't do this, I'm going to put the rest of this, then... Nope, sorry. You have to restart next time you want to do this. So this one is a little more unique, as in it's only available in, obviously, Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet. I would say technically Arceus to an extent as well. But really any of the games on Switch. So this one's a little different. You basically have to, obviously you catch the Pokemon in Pokemon Go, and then, you have to first catch the encounter on your route in your game, and then you go on Pokemon Go, you pick the first Pokemon you see, and this is where that challenge does come into play because not all the Pokemon are available in all these games, and you may be put into a situation that you may not like. Actually, I think it's more challenging now though because of how many Pokemon are in Go. So all right, and then like I said over here, catch the first Pokemon you see. Could be a Caterpie, could be the Gyarados. Does not matter. You catch that thing, and they actually update this a little bit more. I don't know why I just said Sword and Shield or Scarlet Violet when right here I literally have a Let's Go game on here. All right. And then like I said as well, these are limited to the different games. So you may be in a perspective of National Dex does not exist. Dexit, I'm so upset about that. All right.
Do anything else other than Kanto Pokemon in the Let's Go games because you can't.
Right. Those or Melton though. That's what you want if you want to. Right. All right. And then next up, we got a Surprise and Wonderlock. So there we go. Exactly. Yes.
So sad.
Exactly. I love it. Yeah. So I trimmed that reaction right there. The Surprise trade, Wonder trade is basically I'm going to. You see there. All right. Cool. Perfect. All right. So we got Pooper up on one side of the field, Quaxley on the other, and basically Wonder trade says, I want to put my Quaxley up, randomly search whoever else is doing this. Oh, hey, here's a Pooper. Here you go. So you can't say no. That's what it is. It adds a really fun challenge, though, to it because, I don't know how it is nowadays in the Surprise trade, but I remember back in Wonder Trade, it was always Yungoos, Sentret, Rattatas.
I got a shiny Eevee in my Pokemon Y.
Whew.
I know.
I love that. So, yes.
Nowadays in Surprise trades, it's almost exclusively starters or like Pokemon people are breeding.
Okay.
Like they'll breed a bunch of them, and the ones they can't use, they just Wonder trade them away. So you get good stuff, but you're always getting like the wrong attributes of those things.
Right, exactly. Like, oh, hey, cool. Like, hey, look, here's this really cool starter. Here's this, here's this Pikachu, and it's like, oh, wait, you have a 0 IV speed, you have a 0 special attack. Nope, done here. But yeah, so also I have to say this right here. This little side note, I still always stand by. Wonder Trade is superior over the Surprise Trade, especially with the PSS system. Very upset they got rid of it after Gen 6. I don't know why they could not have brought it over to Gen 7 because the Festival Plaza is awful, personally. And so just like as a normal Nuzlocke rule set as well, you gotta catch that first Pokemon in the routes. And then once you catch it, you immediately go on that Surprise Trade, Wonder Trade. Put it up, trade it over. And this is something I will always stress with this challenge specifically, that dupe clause. Throw in that dupe clause every time, all right? And here's best part is it can be anything, including hatched Pokemon, so be on the lookout for those as well. And next one as well is an Egglock. So this is like a really cool way to kind of work with a bunch of friends in the community. Like I know there's a bunch of Discord servers and Reddit subreddits as well, where you can actually reach out to people and say, hey, I'm doing this challenge. Do people have like eggs they could send my way or whatever? You don't know what they are, and the same idea really does apply here as well, where you have the idea of catching Pokemon in each route, but then you just drop it in the box, take an egg, and it could be anything. One big thing here though is since it's egg, so you don't know what it is, dupe clause is a no-go in this kind of challenge. But yeah, like I said, I think I did one on Pokemon X version years ago. It was a lot of fun though, for sure, because you never know what you're gonna get. Obviously, with the eggs though, you're gonna get first form no matter what, unless some people have spawned in. Actually, no, I think it might be possible to spawn in legendaries and eggs through hacking. I think. Fiona does not count because Fiona is a mythical that actually does come from an egg. Anyways, all right. And then the next one up over here is the tag lock. So this one is a little different from a normal Soul Link. In the tag lock, you pass along the same game from person to person to person until the last milestone is finished. I actually recently did one with a bunch of my friends in Fire Red version. This is really a scenario where having a ROM version of the game makes it much easier, so you can transfer over the data, you can share over the files, everything you need. And how that played out was each person took a task from obviously getting your start to each gym, and then I think what we did, so what we're doing after we beat the main Elite Four, because obviously Fire Red and Leaf Green, Elite Four members come back more challenging with the national decks. We had no flag in place for somebody to go get the Ruby and the Sapphire, unlock the national decks in Fire Red and Leaf Green, and then somebody else took on the Elite Four again. And this one is not as annoying because you just have to trust people that they're going to do the smart thing. You have to trust them they're not going to try to sacrifice Pokemon. Even though I really, really, really wanted to sacrifice that Charizard because I didn't. I wanted to though, but it's okay. It survived. And so Wedlock, it is like a Soul Link, except we go based off of genders. So one pair, I'm going to say this right now. Disclaimer, I did not make these rules. If you want same-sex as your result, then do it. More about you. Do it. Do whatever you want to do. This is just the way how the rule set was built when this first started, however many years ago. But you know what? 2024, got to be more modernized and everything, and I still stand by that statement. Anyways, so like one pair, so obviously same gender, different gender, however you guys want to play that thing. Legendaries aren't allowed unless they are like gender specific. So say for example, like Latios and Latias are. I think Heatran is. Trying. Right, I'm not saying I'm like, are there more? But yeah, so same thing does apply to. Actually, so same thing does apply to yes.
Would there be like a special name for like all non-binary Pokemon?
Good question. I don't see why not. Yes.
So there is a YouTuber named Maryland. I don't
Yes.
know if you know him, but he does a lot of wedlocks. But he always did the one male, one female, and then he came out with a rainbow wedlock. And then I didn't like his rules. So I took his rainbow wedlock and I made my own rules. And so I have like a Google Doc full of like wedlock rules that allow gay Pokemon.
I love it.
So everybody wants to talk to me about it.
I will definitely talk to you after this. I think that's a really cool thing. I think that's a really cool thing to have as well. And then so there is actually a technicality, and I just learned about this after doing some Pokedex research. Zacian and Zamazenta are like gender specified in their Pokedex entries as brother and sister. So that's, again, like I said, in the games they're not registered as the gender, but in the decks it is. So take it as what you will. Personally, I'm like, they should be allowed to be part of this wedlock rule set. All right, so got one of the newest challenge runs ever. Kaizo Ironmon. Who here knows about Kaizo challenge? Like a Kaizo challenge? Yes. Could you explain what that is?
I was just reading my name because I know.
I know it's all. Basically, Kaizo's like, how can I make a game just hell on earth, basically. That's really all it is. So whoever in the right mind said, hey, let's take Pokemon to that level. It's awful. I've done this a little bit myself as well, the Emerald version. So normally it's a hunt. So like these rule sets, like over here down at the bottom left as well, those are like the general rule sets. The only difference is that level booster. For some reason, Emerald specifically says it has to be 160% level booster. Every other gen or whatever is 150%. Let's see here. Can I? Okay. This link's here. Open link. There we go.
Drab mint. Fancy mint.
Exactly, that's record.
Fancy.
So, real quick.
Sup, everyone. My name is.
Why is he broccoli?
Okay, guys, actually, real quick. Can I get everybody in here? Just say real quick, happy birthday, it's really Timmy B.
Happy birthday! It's really Timmy B.
Thank you. His birthday's tomorrow, and that's why his birthday's tomorrow. I'm like, I want to surprise. Yeah.
Is Jolie in the number?
Yeah. So the way how the Kaiser Armon works is you could specify favorites. So when you select your Pokemon at the start of the challenge, when you start the challenge, it's a random dice roll that says left, middle, right, and that's Pokemon you have to choose. And you scroll through all three. So what your favorites say is as Jolteon, Vaporeon, Umbreon. I actually don't have any of those plushes. Anyways, so what that says is if, like, say for example, I'm told to pick the middle Pokemon of my three, but then Jolteon, for example, is the left pick. I could pick Jolteon because it's one of my favorites. It's Pokemon I would want to use in this run, and that's why we have those favorites right there. And then just a quick little explanation of how this HUD kind of looks like. So anyways, well, now he's a Banana Man actually now, so he's no longer Broccoli Man. But down over here, it's like a nice little assistance guide thing that people have actually built into the game and everything. It shows you like the Pokemon, shows like movesets that they could have, what they've battled with previously. It basically is a big database thing that continuously gets updated. It makes it very helpful for the whole challenge and everything. Makes it a little more bearable, although not really, because right now he's at and when he finished this challenge, it took him 1,324 attempts to actually complete this. So,
I would not ever do that.
oh no, definitely not. Like I said, no, these are not for the faint of heart at all either. Is there a way I could actually mute this or something like that? Because it's okay. No, we hear the beautiful Timmy B in a little bit. Actually, I want to get to his last.
Go, baby, go, baby, go, baby, go.
He's gonna hate me for this, so it's okay. So basically, you're only stuck with one Pokemon as well. So his Blissey, I'm pretty sure this was a Hustle Blissey set. So you got higher physical attack, but you're actually lures.
Let's go! I did!
2D Broccoli Man, yep. Let's look at that.
He turned his head and it was flat. I was like, that's way better.
Oh my gosh, but yeah, so also he has a pretty little face. I mean, come on now. So that's really the idea of what a Kaizo Ironmon is basically this. One Pokemon throughout the entire game, and that Pokemon faints, you have to resets and everything. I think depending on, they've updated it to have I think it's specifically in Pokemon Emerald. They somehow put in every single Pokemon up to, I believe, Diplin, I think, into that game. So 1,100 something or whatever. And because of that, they've actually increased the BST total of a Pokemon that you can use. So previously, the maximum it had to be less than 600 on the BST total. And with all these new Pokemon coming into play as well, they basically the rule set said you can use a small legendary or a Pokemon up to 600 BST. So it definitely it's a give and take, I guess, because you're going against more Pokemon, going against all these abilities and everything. But yeah, so this is really just the nice little example of what okay, we're just gonna do that for right now. All right, it's on. Yeah, technical issues, seriously. And then this is actually one of my favorite ones to do is exactly, yes, exactly. Yeah, so one of my favorite challenge ones I've ever done, in my opinion, is the Professor Oak challenge, and that's actually how I heard about this was from John Stone. Actually, I watched one of his videos. I'm like, It sounds like so much fun. Again, this kind of run is just very laid back and relaxing. Just play, have something on the background. The time will fly by fast, like you're playing Minecraft. Or like actually though, I probably spend like 70 hours a day doing this kind of challenge run because it's incredible. So in this kind of run, you have to catch and evolve every Pokemon before the next milestone. So, for example, we're gonna go with Scarlet and Violet because that one you have to catch. I believe to register 340 something Pokemon, somewhere in that range out of the 400 Pokemon in that game, prior to even doing a single event, so a single gym battle or Titan or whatever. So, for example, again, always gotta pick the best duck ever, best Pokemon ever. Well, second best. Eevee's number one. You have to evolve. Quaxley to obviously Quackable, for example. You have to catch every single Pokemon that's available to you before getting to the next milestone. So this is like the longest one. It's like again, 366 Pokemon. There are guides for this everywhere. On Reddit, there's a Professor Oak Challenge subreddit, and in there are guides for each game. Gives you this Pokemon that you need to catch. What they really do appreciate about Scarlet and Violet version specifically is obviously relying on the Koraidon and Miraidon, and when that's going on, you are basically kind of the guy basically tells you. Here's how you could basically you could travel around the entire map with no fast speed, flying, climbing. You could really get around everywhere, which is insane. And then this is outside of trades as well. So say for example, like a Scyther, you cannot get Scizor, Slowking's not available. Palafin is another one that's not available as well because it requires you to do everything on your own. And then in Arceus, which I actually love the most, people made it as 3 different challenge runs. Easy just says, okay, I'm going to catch every Pokemon. Medium difficulty, which is personally what I did, you catch and reach research level 10 for every single Pokedex entry. Hard, I refuse to do this one. It's getting the stars on every single Pokedex entry and everything as well. Yeah, so like have fun doing like 50 quick attacks, have fun startling Pokemon, just no, I'm good. But the best way to do this well is take advantage of those built-in mechanics. So yes.
I just want to say that I feel like the funniest game to do this in is Black and White because before one you can only catch like 10 Pokemon.
Right.
11 is the max amount of entries you can get before the Chili Crest and
Silent, yeah. However, keep this in mind as well. Black and White does have that level curve though. But yeah, so like I say though, this definitely makes it a little bit easier in Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet because of the raid dens. Those are you're more welcome to use as many of those as possible. Build up your EXP candies, make it easier to catch other Pokemon. It's again, take advantage of all that. And then I decided to just make a nice little tier list of ones that I would recommend. Starting from the bottom, going to the top of don't even go near.
but Gold is my favorite game.
There's a lot of Pokeathlon in this game. A lot of Pokeathlon you have to do in Heart Gold and Soul Silver for this one. Kind of a personal experience, I will say I have done Black 2, White 2, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Platinum I've done, Scarlet and Violet, Sword and Shield. And then, like I said before, the reason why I have Arceus on here 3 times is, like I said, the easy, medium, and hard difficulty ones. And also the Gen 6 games as well. Horde battles, great way to build EXP. And it's even better when you're able to get more shinies as well. That's another big thing about about doing a Professor Oak challenge. Shinies galore. I've caught maybe, I think like 8 or 9 shinies in my Scarlet and Violet run. I think one of them was a Mankey, which I did evolve into a Annihilate the second I was able to.
I haven't seen that shiny yet.
About this, yeah. It's very, but yeah, so anybody have any questions, guys, about the Professor Oak challenge? Any
it would be easy to train using SOS battles, you know?
Yeah, no, that's a good point as well. Yeah, looks like actually, I don't know. Actually, I think it's a positive and a negative though, because obviously some Pokemon as well are only available in the SOS. Battles like Corsola, you need to find that Marini, yep, and then I mean, but there's also that Bagon in Route 3. There's a 1% chance of getting a Salamence spawn at like level 5. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's what these. Well, when you do these, you learn a lot more about exactly, yes, and how to exploit it. All right, and so okay, so what's a Professor Oak challenge? Yes, exactly. We go, and then got a nice little video right here. Sorry, no more Banana Man or Broccoli Man this time. I wish I knew the speaker was this loud. I'm sorry. Pretty sure you guys can tell what song this is. This one's a lot. This one's a lot of fun. This is a fan-made game called Team Rocket version. And so with that, I would say probably the best thing to do is just make your own Pokemon challenges, like I just kind of showed here today. They're innovative, creative. If you could think of a challenge, do it. For example, like the dice log, a buddy of mine did that. Basically, he determined what would happen when you're basically. I think he only whenever he had to like make any kind of move, he relied on a dice roll. If it's an encounter, he rolled in. They said, okay, if it's like a 1, I could catch it. If it's 2, I have to attack it. If it's 3, I have to run away. Just like different outputs there. Solo runs, like solo runs, a little more difficult than a mono lock because, again, single Pokemon. This is really where cheesing strategies do come in handy. I'm not sure who has heard of a dry bread by any chance? Yeah, exactly, challenge runs and everything.
Yeah. The amount of double times he has to use double team.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Like I said, you gotta cheese it sometimes. Then gift Pokemon. So obviously, every Pokemon game just says, "Hey, I'm gonna just use the Pokemon that are gifted to me." And then one place actually did this one as well, the Avatar lock. So he just fire types, water, rock. And I think he classified flying for the air typing for the air. Yeah. So then, but yeah, I just want to say thank you all so much for coming by and everything. Any questions? Any? Yes.
So actually, a non-Pokemon player actually recently did a random line Nuzlocke, which was funny. She kept getting legendaries and didn't know what they were. But she was so bad at it It was heart gold.
Okay.
She got to the tower and fainted.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh no.
Major area. Because she didn't realize what she was doing. She wasn't leveling up her Pokemon. She wasn't. And then when so Pokemon kept dying. And then when she finally started doing it, they still kept dying because she wasn't actually. And because it was all randomized, she would run into encounters where there would just be this one Pokemon that would wipe her out.
Oh.
Yep. That's the fun of a randomizer though. I'm going crazy here. There's one I actually didn't put on here. It's a warp lock. So basically it's randomizing the game and then randomizing like the entryways in the game as well.
Oh no.
Yes.
Enter random places.
Yeah, basically so you go into your house and you end up at in a gym, for example. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. I'll add that slide to the next one as well because I'm surprised I just thought about that right now. Yes.
So you could literally walk out your door and go into the last gym of the game and just die.
So no, that would not be the case. So the only time it's set is when you leave your house. Once you leave your house, if you go back in, then yes, theoretically you go into the last gym. You can even go to the champion room, for example.
Hey, Lance.
Exactly. But yeah, like I said, thank you guys so much for coming by and everything. Hope you all learned some new challenge runs and stuff. And yeah,
Yay.
of course.